The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Kaufman Outdoors and The Porch in Wildwood.
And we are so thrilled to have them as part of the Real Monica Adams Show, just joining us as our title sponsors. And yes, you're hearing two businesses because it is a couple that owns the two businesses. One is Kaufman Outdoors that you're looking at right now. And folks, I want you to step in. You are going to be, especially the men in your life, or maybe it's the ladies that enjoy getting out there and just making the beautiful lines in their lawns. They've got everything you need: Beta Italian off-road motorcycles, performance parts, Exmark, Bad Boy, and Spartan mowers. I had a chance to sit on one of those. You're going to see that in my social media a little bit later on today. But you've got to get in and you have to experience it. Kaufman Outdoors, located in Sullivan, Missouri. If you have not been in yet, please stop in. They're at 141 North Service Road West, and you can call them at 573-468-8473. I think one of the greatest thing is they can do the service right there on the property instead of sending things away. So Kaufman Outdoors, owned by Mark and Jan Kaufman. And Jan then runs the most beautiful store that I hope you've been into. If you haven't yet, they're in Wildwood, Missouri at 16957 Manchester Road. You're going to hear all about them tomorrow. We had a chance to go last week and do a beautiful shoot. Some of you had a chance to come by and watch that unfold. Maybe you'll even see yourself on camera. They have everything you need for your home, for your office, if you're building a new home, or you just want your space to look completely different. And if you don't know how to put it all together, here's the beautiful thing. Jan is an interior designer, so she can help you with all of that, or you can just literally hand it over to her and she can do that. It's from a beautiful rug to a different chair, maybe even a lamp that completely changes your space. Again, the Porch in Wildwood. And we always ask you to do us a favor and support those that support us. Again, we couldn't do this show without them and without you. So good morning. If you step outside this morning, you're going to notice a big difference and you're going to like it. So you can do your exercise, walk the dogs. It feels incredible. Here's what it looks like for you as you are going through the rest of your week and into the weekend. We're talking 82 degrees. Enjoy outside lunch, maybe, or dinner. 64 tonight's going to feel amazing. Thursday, same thing. We're just going to rinse and repeat. And then we get to Friday where we do have a 60% chance of a rain or maybe a storm. Look at that. 78 as things cool down. We're not even going to get into the 80s after we were almost at 100 degrees. Saturday, some AM rain will get out of the way. And then look at the weekend. It looks amazing. 88 on Saturday. Now it is going to get hot again on Sunday. 95 degrees, so maybe find some water. Monday, 96, so we're going to be back into the heat of the summer. Tuesday, Wednesday also stay in the 90s. And then by the time we get to Friday of next week, we're going to be back into the upper 80s. We're going to stay with the weather theme as we start to kick off the news you can use. And this has to do with what we were mentioning yesterday, Tropical Storm Bertha. The tracker now showing heavy rain and flash flooding forecast for parts of the Gulf Coast. So for those of you that watch outside of our St. Louis, Missouri area, or maybe you have friends that are in the area of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, parts of the Florida Panhandle, this is indicating that strong winds could push that seawater inland, causing flooding in those areas. The highest surge, up to 4 feet, by the way, is forecast for the mouth of the Mississippi River to the Mississippi-Alabama border, while other coastal areas, including Lake Pontchartrain, could see up to 3 feet of flooding. The season's first named storm, Tropical Storm Arthur, brought heavy rain and flash flooding to parts of southern Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi just last month. So we will be keeping an eye on Bertha and updating you as we go into tomorrow, and again, if it lasts into Friday as well. Well, there's a video that I watched of this next story, and the man that was taking it said, oh my gosh, he kept saying, oh my gosh, as sparks were flying. I actually circled so you could see it on this still shot. Sparks flew as the video showed the cargo plane go into a tail skid, and it was getting ready to launch, and it was during an aborted landing attempt. This was in Cincinnati. Video shows this cargo plane experiencing a tail skid during an attempted landing on Sunday. The plane was doing a go-around after attempting to land at the airport. It was during that go-around that the tail skid happened. Sparks were seen flying from the back of the plane before it ascended back into the air. It did finally land safely shortly thereafter, and the best part of it all, there were no injuries to the crew. Well, this next story almost feels like it needs to be on a crime television show that you watch. If you've been watching or hearing this unfold, It's two things that we're going to tell you about that has a tie to Sam's Steakhouse. The first, ex-employer did in fact get prison time for stealing over, are you ready for this? $1 million from Sam's Steakhouse. The 48-year-old Matthew Brash pleaded guilty back in April to misusing the company credit card to make personal purchases. And I'm going to tell you about those in just a second because I saw them all break down and I couldn't believe that they were able to do all of this. He was an employee at the time of the crimes, okay? The bookkeeper. The prosecutor said he spent $82,000 at Target. How the heck do you do this? $29,000 plus at Vineyard Vines clothing store, about $39,000 at Amazon, and about $10,000 at a local hotel just to stay for an acquaintance. According to the investigators, he posed as the restaurant's owner to conceal his crimes. The embezzlement left the restaurant short of funds to buy food and pay their state taxes. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison in order to repay the money that he embezzled. Now, that was, again, pleading guilty to one count of wire fraud. But as I looked into that story, I then take a look at Mark Ernie. He previously pled guilty to defrauding the partners in Hamburger Mary's, and he was also the former steakhouse manager. He is avoiding jail time under a diversion program that has Patrick Long, the owner, so frustrated. He said he is just lit up because he said now it's just going to be swept under the rug. And as I mentioned, besides what I told you they spent, they also had Cardinals tickets over $5,000, a Disney World vacation, as well as a couch that they bought at a furniture store, Sasha's on Demand. They spent almost $1,000 there, and it goes on and on. So one goes to prison and one just gets swept under the rug. Can you believe that, folks? Again, it's one of those stories that you'd be glued to the TV going, wait, what? How is he going to prison and how did he get away? They said that man was such a charmer and it seems he gets out of everything. Boy, he must have incredible attorneys. All right, Lake St. Louis. If you're in St. Charles County, listen up to this. Lake St. Louis police, they're reminding you about a cryptocurrency scam after they stopped one in progress. The department says on Wednesday of last week, officers responded to a local business after it was reported that an elderly customer was trying to deposit a large sum of money into a virtual cryptocurrency kiosk. Police say officers recognized the signs of the scam. They intervened. Fortunately, before that elderly person lost more money, an investigation revealed that the person had been tricked by a couple of people, one impersonating a tech employee and the other a federal employee. The person was told to withdraw almost $47,000 in cash from their bank and deposit it into two different cryptocurrency kiosks. The department said the funds were recovered, thank God, with the help of St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. But I'm telling you, folks, they're getting better and better at this. Please take care of your moms and dads. It almost happened to my mother. I told that story several months ago. Again, they're getting better and better, and it's just harder and harder to figure out who you can trust and who you can't. Well, we've been talking in health news about the cyclosporo outbreak, and it's growing here in the state of Missouri. I'm going to break down the cases here, as well as our friends over in Illinois. So if you are in the Missouri area, it has hit us. 43 cases just 1 week ago. But look at Illinois, some confirmed and probable cases, about 309, and that was just through July 17th. So the number is rising. If you've traveled outside of the U.S., it's showing about 125 of those in Illinois. Domestically acquired here, 152, and 24 people have been hospitalized. The company said it's continuing to work with public health officials as the investigation into the outbreak's source progresses. It's Taylor Farms. They said they had completed the voluntary recall of their iceberg lettuce from its central Mexico facility after the product was initially linked to the outbreak. The lettuce was distributed to grocery stores and restaurants, including Walmart and Taco Bell. The county updates its dashboard regularly and uses it to track the cyclospora and other reportable illnesses as health officials continue to monitor the outbreak. Folks, again, it's a multi-state outbreak. It's sickened more than 1,000 people nationwide. You need, if you have those symptoms, to go to your hospital, go to the doctor immediately so they can treat this. That's your health news. Now, this is something that just happened in St. Francis County yesterday in Farmington. It was a near drowning, and as you see here, it's right near that 67 Highway 32 area. It was a young child that they found unresponsive. The good thing is the child did not drown. They were able to get to that child, and again, that was in the Farmington area, Farmington, Missouri, in St. Francis County. Again, Highway 67, Highway 32. They did shut down the water park for the day. No word on whether that is going to reopen today, but we will follow that, and if we get that information, I'll pass it along to you. St. Louis University and a geospatial center. This is pretty cool. If you are currently at, or maybe you're an alum of St. Louis University, they're housing in the School of Science and Engineering. The center's priorities include advancing research through collaborative projects, shared resources, external grants, expanding the educational pathways from undergraduate to graduate and professional programs, supporting partnerships with government, industry, and community organizations to address local, national, and global challenges, and translating research into impact through data-driven insights, applied solutions, and technology departments. Well, this one, I just want to send thoughts and prayers out to this family, and I didn't see a GoFundMe, but I do hope that someone's going to put one together for this family. This mother of 6 tried to rescue her 4-year-old son. He fell into a river in Florida. The 43-year-old mother, a mother of 6, jumped in, as any mother would do, into the St. Johns River Saturday afternoon at Edstone Park. And she was going after her 4-year-old son who had fallen in. Now, witnesses pulled both of them from the water. The 4-year-old survived. The mother did not. She died several hours later at the hospital. And there were many people that said, I think there should be some sort of life-saving device, like a throw ring or something, even a ladder to hold on to. 6 kids, folks, are now without their mother today because of the fact that she obviously is going to jump in to try to save her child. And now they no longer have a mother. So again, I do hope some sort of a GoFundMe or something is going to be put together. If it is, and I find out about it, I'll drop it in because I know we have a very giving audience. Well, do you recognize this young star? Unfortunately, she has passed away after a car crash. Kaylee Hoddle, the star of Godzilla vs. Kong films, the deaf actor, her father said she died after a car crash that happened in Maryland. This was on Tuesday morning. In a Facebook live stream, he used American Sign Language to explain the circumstances of his daughter's death. He said she died en route to the hospital and that he had to fly from Texas to Maryland to claim her body. Again, you might recognize her in the 2021 film Godzilla vs. Kong and the 2024 sequel Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. Again, folks, she was only 19 years old. All right, you know I love my fashion, but I don't know about these shoes. Take a look. We're going to run through several slides here. Let me know. Drop in a comment right now if you would wear these again. These 90s shoe trends making the biggest comeback. Are you ready for a little nostalgia? I looked at it right away and I'm like, are those jellies? Oh no, I will not put those on my feet. They're squishing their way back into your hearts and onto your feet. And the breakdown that we're showing is kind of a price range from Amazon to Nordstrom from $27 up to $79 for jellies. Okay, if you don't like those, how about some platform wedges? They're climbing their way back into women's closets as well. From $36 at Amazon, actually $34, I had a pair as well, all the way up to about $55 at Amazon. Again, maybe some of those, but that last one I am not having. The square toe shoes. Now I'm going to tell you, some of these heels I actually do like. So those Mary Jane chunky low heels, they're $30 at Amazon. The kitten heels, I'm not a fan of, but some of you are like, I can't wear the big ones. Okay, $50 at Amazon. They had some of those ballet flats, and then some of the Anthropology sandals go up to $150. Now, mules I've actually seen, they've been around for a while. That's one that's always ready to slip back into style. So $34 up to about $188 if you're going to buy them at Anthropology. But yeah, what do you think? You like mules? I know a lot of people that think those are comfortable. And then the last one are these sporty sandals. They're striding back into the spotlight. Cushy footbeds, chunky soles, all-day comfort. What do you think of those? The reggae sandals? Maybe, the closed-toed water sandals, those are making a comeback. Those are comfy, and it depends on how active you are. You might like those. And then $140 at Zappos for those Hoka hike-to sandals. So you go from hiking straight out to joining your friends at a happy hour. What do you think of the 90s nostalgic trend that's making its way back? We always say fashion. Give it a while, maybe hang on to it, and it'll come right back to you probably about 20 years later. St. Louis Cardinals fans, as we mentioned, we got this long stretch where they're back at home. The Cardinals losing, unfortunately, to the Angels. The final was 5-1. It's the Cardinals and the LA Angels. It'll be a 3:07 game this afternoon. And then we've got the Cardinals coming back finally for this long stretch, as I just mentioned. That will be tomorrow, that they will be back at Busch Stadium playing the Diamondbacks. Okay, and in your National Day of calendar, both Zach and I said, oh, yummy, I love me some mango. National Mango Day, National Fragile X Awareness Day. It is National, is that Panouche? Panouche Fudge Day or Panuche? I don't know that one, but I like myself some fudge. I will absolutely take advantage of this one. National Hammock Day, and I will be doing so as I relax and I look over the space that in just 2 days will be filled with a hot tub from our friends at Spas and More. Zach's coming to the house. We're going to let it all unfold for you, as so many of you have been asking, what do you think of the hot tub? I'm like, it's not there yet. We've been talking about it, but it's coming on Friday. So we'll tell you all about our friends at Spas and More. If you haven't been in to see them yet, they're located in Sunset Hills, and we would love for you to stop in. Some of you have bought your hot tubs, some of you haven't pulled the trigger just yet, but I would highly recommend that you look into doing so. All right, folks, today is a day about wellness. It's a Wellness Wednesday, and that means our dear friend Trisha Rhodes is back from Exist Stretch, and we have a lot to talk about today, so don't you go anywhere.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spa rooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Thrilled to have you along with us. Nice to see all of you saying good morning. And then Rose making me laugh. I agree. No jellies. So we're going to ask Trisha about this in just a second. Wedges would be suicide for me, Rose says. And ballet flats, shoot me. Feel free to continue to comment if you're just tuning in and you're not sure what we're talking about. We just did this 90s nostalgic trend. So Trisha Rhodes from Exist Stretch in studio with us. Yeah, so these are making a comeback. First of all, did you ever have jellies the first time around?
My sisters did.
Your sisters did?
Yeah, I did not.
I did not, and I don't want any.
No.
What about the big platform sandals?
Oh, yeah.
You like those?
Well, no.
No?
Not that I like
You had
them,
those.
but I had them that now if you see them, you kind of like take a step back going, are those back in or is she just out of style?
They're back in.
Yeah, and I'm so out of it that I was like, oh, no.
And then what do you think about the squared toes?
I don't think.
No? So square-toed boots, I actually used to like.
Yeah, like you can see it on a lot, like cowboy boots. You have.
But I think that this will make, as we get out of our spring, summertime period, I think it will morph into fall and into winter, and you'll see that square toe, maybe instead of the pointed toe. But again, 20 years, give it about 20 years, and you'll see it come back. So yes, for a while there, you'd be out of style, but then you're like, whatever, I'm just ahead of my game.
That's why I'm always afraid of get rid of my jeans because they always circle back around.
Absolutely, they do. I have hung on to some Citizens of Humanity and Seven, Seven for All Mankind, and they're all back now, and they're expensive, by the way. And I'm like, oh, let me make some money off this. All right. Well, we haven't seen you in a little bit. How you been?
Great. Thank you very much.
And I've seen more and more of you.
I haven't seen you, but your hair looks fantastic.
Oh, that's funny because I'm going to get it
Really?
done today.
It's got like highlights. I was like, I've never seen it.
This is what always happens, right?
Yeah.
Just when you're getting ready to go. I agree. I went in and I fixed my hair today. I'm like, oh, I really like my hair. Of course I like my hair today when I'm getting it done. So does it feel like it's a little longer to you? Or do
it's
you
just styled different, and it just looks fresh and fancy. But your hair color looks
It's fancy.
It's fancy.
All right, well then I'm going to tell Sherry at Sheer Studios.
It looks good.
They like it, so don't do too much to it.
Yeah, it looks good.
just kind of fluff it up a little bit. Well, so I was just mentioning that some of you have been in already, which I greatly appreciate, and I love all the feedback from some of the new people that have been in. A lot of my clients that have come in, they haven't had a chance to get into you. Some of them have, some of them haven't. So it's nice that they've been getting a chance to get into Exist Stretch and incorporating knowing Trisha and her style, knowing Tim and Justin and Claire and how different everyone is. And it's just like going to a massage therapist, right? You might want someone who just does a Swedish massage. And then you're like, oh, no. I need someone to just really get in. If you want more of that deep tissue side, that's Trisha. And I think I would say Tim as well, wouldn't you say? Or a combo, maybe half and half.
I'd say a combo. Like yesterday, we were rustling around and trying to get a client in, and we successfully did, but we had to like give a little bit of myself, and then Justin did a little of himself, and it was like we both like looked at each other like that was like the best of both worlds.
Interesting.
Massage kind of stretching, fascia release. It was like,
and you did it together, tandem.
Yeah, and it was like I did the first 20 minutes, and then I
like that.
piggyback because then clients were just coming in, and I was like here, and then I'm like you do this, and before your clients we just got able to fit this one person in, and
You know what we should do? I like this idea.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have all four of you ever at one place, do you? Never mind.
Yeah.
I'd have to drive and break it up a
Yeah.
little bit. But I think it would be cool to do 15, 15, 15, 15 and be able, I've been into Tim
throw it out
and to
there.
Trisha. Huh?
You're gonna throw it out there. It'll be the Monica special.
Yes. Get a little bit of this, a little bit of Monica. I do agree though, the idea of incorporating different people, because then what you're going to find is, oh, I really like this one. This fits with my body. And then that's who you keep going to. But it also has to do with location. So I have some clients where I was like, haven't you been into Trisha yet? And they're like, oh, no, I go to Arnold. Now, this is the question. Are you only at Arnold in the morning?
Basically, I'm there from like 9 to 1 on Fridays.
And then doing like manage or, behind the scenes work.
exactly.
Okay. So if you want to see Trisha at Arnold, there you go. 9 to 1 time period. And yes, somebody asked, can I just walk in? No, you need to make an appointment. But again, if you haven't had an appointment yet, your first one is free. That's for everybody. And then they have different packaging. They also have this incredible hero package pricing. They just did that story on Fox 2 and you became a star on TV. Oh, were you nervous?
Oh my God. I was out of town when it aired, and like everyone was like texting me and showing me, and I was like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. My friends were all like, I had to walk outside. I was like, I don't want to hear this.
You did great.
Thank you.
I loved, and Brian Shellman, by the way, shout out to our
awesome
St.
guy,
Louis
yeah.
County Police, TAC, SWAT, all of that. He did a wonderful job. And I think the greatest thing was when he got off the table that they asked him, when's the last time that your shoulder could move like that? And he said back probably 20, 30 years ago when he was much younger.
It's incredible even being there physically stretching somebody, what you hear, what you feel, and what you see in the beginning as far as the lack of mobility or even just the ease of how the joint moves after. It's so cool. Like it's really witnessing something in front of your eyes. Like I know they do, but it's like when I see their arm only go a specific amount, and it's not in a flow or it doesn't move with ease.
Right.
And then once you do it and then they move, like if you see on that segment, like I saw them, but it was like you feel as if something you normally would think, okay, that was caught, or just kind of like
It's stuck.
it doesn't have, it has like a different rhythm. And then when he moved it back, I was like, woo!
Yeah, look at you. You get your range of
'cause
motion.
it was a little bit more, it was just moved so much better.
It's
So,
an
yeah.
aha moment for so many of you, by the way, that if you feel stuck and you just feel like that's something that's going to have to be, it's not. And it's not until you get in and actually see that you can feel better, that you can move better, then you get it. And again, that's our whole thing. This is going to take a little while because people still don't understand who's supposed to get in and get professionally stretched. And that's really what we wanted to do today. It's that whole breakdown. Trisha and I have been talking about it for a while, but there's a lot of you that I think still feel that, is it an athlete? Is it someone who's just coming back from surgery? Who are the people that should be in there? It's everyone. And we have something that behind the scenes that I'm working on to team up Exist Stretch with Garden View Care Centers.
Okay.
It's our seniors. It's our older generation. And I talked to the CEOs and they love the idea. So I'm going to be getting with you all. So if by chance you have a loved one that's at one of the locations of Garden View Care Centers, they are going to team up together and we're going to they actually said, so would this just be for the patients? And I was like, no. And they said, could we have this for the employees? I'm like, yes. And that is going to be, I can't wait to see their reaction because and we're talking about first responders, the healthcare workers and what they're doing and how they're moving people around for them to take care of themselves. So that's something we're working on, by the way. So yes, it is from younger generation to our seniors as well. But one of the things I wanted to discuss on today's show has to do with many times people feeling like they need to have surgery when in actuality it's tight muscles. And I wonder how many of you have been cut on when maybe you didn't need to and maybe you really needed to be stretched. Have you seen that? Have you heard that?
I think most of it, I'd say most of where people have those questions of is this something I should go see a doctor for, or is this something wrong with me, is with those that have hip replacements or had surgeries and not realizing they've gone through PT. But time moves on. This year's past almost halfway. So, and you're like, how'd the time go move so fast? Like, how far away from PT were you? That scar tissue, that's a real thing. I put my hands up because it happens to me where you just don't move as freely or something just always just feels tight and you stretch at home, but it's not the stretching that really releases the tension or traction through the joint that gives that mobility. And it feels as if something is wrong.
Absolutely. But you know what? Here's the thing. It's awareness of your body. If something feels wrong, don't let it continue to stay wrong.
I mean, if you're in pain, yes. Like for
an extended period of time.
The aching, there is a difference. And it's sometimes for me, it's hard to acknowledge it because most people say, well, I'm in pain. Okay, what kind?
You got to get some context.
Yeah, I feel like that car salesman, like, honk, honk, chicka, chicka,
What was that again? Chicka, chicka.
Like, what sound or what's going on? Like,
Absolutely.
Is it a pain? For me, I have a very high pain tolerance where I've had a broken bone. And like, how much pain you're in? I'm like, maybe a 6. And like, looking at me going, did you take anything? And I'm like, no, I just held it together.
You have a high pain tolerance.
Yes. So other people feel as if pain, and I'm like, what kind of pain? Like, you just wake up and you're achy. To somebody that's painful.
Right.
Where I'm talking about as if, going to a doctor is like,
Right.
you're just in pain all the time
or
something.
And some people's, as you just mentioned, some people as they're moving around, the pain they're feeling could be that they have some type of arthritis.
Correct.
And so it's a dull pain. So that's why you're asked by doctors, your physical therapists, by trainers. We have a rate of perceived exertion. We have a 1 to 10 scale of, all right, let's figure this out. So if she says 5 and someone else goes, what? Mine's a 9.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference there. So when you're pushing, how hard was that workout? Oh, that was a 3 for me. And someone else goes, oh, wow, that's an 8 for me. All of our bodies are different. And that's why we ask those questions. So, but you have to be honest. When you're going in to Exist Stretch, once again, if you're just tuning in, Trisha Rhodes is our guest. And we're talking today, I hope we finally break down for you who should be going in and what kind of things you should be looking for. I also wanted to address, are there stretches that people are doing on their own that they should stop doing that could actually injure them?
I think the one I always do is when people want to show me like the stretches they do and they're in there and they're just like bouncing and doing them. I think lay off the bouncing. Don't do it. I mean, you can try and say, okay, because I want to reach. So they're trying to reach a little bit further and further. the muscle they're trying to stretch, I get it. You want to stretch your hamstrings or but what you're not realizing, the opposing muscles that you're trying to get to that point to stretch that hamstring is your lower back and your shoulders. And that is so easily, you can tear it or strain it. So now you have a back issue or your shoulder. And I'll always draw back to this analogy is women, you're in your car, you do a torso twist to get something in the back seat, or trying to stretch because your cell phone or anything, one of those things, a tight hamstring, a tight glute, you can't reach further, so you're overextending on one limb, and that's all it takes. You pull something, and it's a strain. And I can't do anything with a strain, but I can do with you before you do that and get stretched.
Again, and so those are the things that happen when we talk about day-to-day life. We're out of the gym. We're out of exercise.
I think I just stretched and just hurt myself.
You did not. Are you serious? Oh
no, I was like, wow, that was
Hang on, let's get the table out. I'll help her. I can't stretch you, but I can massage you. Folks, so here's the thing. When you are thinking of this, a lot of you might be like, oh, okay, she's talking about athletes. We're talking about sports. No, we're talking about day-to-day activities. For those of you in your kitchen right now, you're making breakfast, you reach up for something that's a little bit higher up in the cabinet, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I pull that muscle? It didn't happen in that moment. There were warning signs, as we've talked about before, that are leading up to that unfortunately many of you dismiss. So I want you to listen. This is your pro saying, stop doing that. So there are ballistic stretches. There are static stretches. So some of them, yes, do the soft, long, the slow stretches. In fact, I watched a video yesterday that the guy was, I'm going to tell you what, if he wasn't a dancer, he had the most beautiful extension in his toes I've ever seen in my life. But I love the fact that I'm seeing more men and women both. These, whether he was a trainer or not, but I would think he is. He looked great in doing this. He was showing exercises to do for mobility. Mobility. We're seeing it everywhere, right? So he was doing these exercises that I would consider to be a little bit more advanced. But guess what? That's the problem. People will look and go, oh, I'm going to do this. And this man's been doing it forever. So he was in like a bear pose and then coming underneath him and swiping the foot through and then extending out. But like I told you, his extension of his toe, I'm like, are you a dancer? Like, holy cow, this guy's amazing. But he was showing mobility. These things need to happen. And people are like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. They all kept saying, I have knee issues. And his responses back were, you can, but you're not just going to jump into number 2 or number 4 or number 5. That's that weekend warrior symptom that we talk about.
There's so many influencers out there on social media that have the best idea of the new exercise or the new stretch, and this is what's going to fix you. But denouncing what is stage 1 from all of this? Yep. And it's any class that I've ever taught. And it's just a variety of people that are in the class that some can follow me along and others I'm looking at them going, that's gotta hurt. Like, no, don't
but you
go
give them
there.
Modifications.
Yes, absolutely. So, but the modification sometimes just makes you feel not worthy, or it doesn't feel like you're
okay, hang on. Let's address that.
As good as everybody else. And then they do not come back, or they don't feel as if that class is for them. I get that a lot. And I try my best to make people feel as comfortable as possible and make people feel as welcome as possible. But again, I mean, you know it. You'll have the person that you get compliments, and you are not the person in the magazine, but you give them all the compliments in the world, but then they go home and then they go back into that little cave in their heart saying,
they feel less than.
Yeah, and I don't want to be, that's for those people. I have to do my own. And no, I don't want you to be in that box. I want you to understand that there's always a stage 1. You will get to that place if it's just consistency and doing it the right way, because you never want to get injured. And
I just want to stand up and applaud right now. I hope you're all listening to this. Please come back to these classes. There's a reason, though, why you have people who care, like Trisha and I do, because we want to go grab that person and say, I have a feeling in your there it is. Did you hear what you just said? We were all that person one day.
I think the hardest thing was with my second child. I gained 70 pounds with my daughter, and being athletic and always having this ideal look, and everyone's so used to me looking this way and being in tip-top shape. I've never felt so out of shape and so not, I'm never going to get back there. I gave away a lot of my clothes to people. I'm like, I'm never going to be that size anymore. And that people would tell me, yeah. And I was like, no, I'm never going to be like that. stretching one of them, like, I'm never going to be that. But then it's like, okay, you get a little bit of yourself back every day. Once time over time happens. And then there I was again, probably at my best shape after that. I think it took me about a year, but like 2 years after that, I was literally on top of my game in the fitness industry. And
it's amazing how many people, Trisha, give up on themselves, right? So you did. And I love the honesty in this. I did my show yesterday about the dangers of perfectionism. And I just poured my heart out about, this is who I am. This is where I've been. I also went into the whole thing of, hey, I'm in menopause and I struggle with it and have put on 10, 15, 20 pounds back and forth. I'm like, I've got to get this figured out, because in my head, and this is so stupid that we do this, in my head, it's like, oh, maybe I don't look exactly as I did when I was ripped. And then other people are like, are you kidding me? Well, but we know how we want to feel.
Yeah. If you look at a photo album of every year, you're like, okay, that was 2013. Oh, that was 2016. Yeah. And then 2018, not my shyness, you know. But
I do. I look but why do we all judge ourselves so much?
Yeah.
I wish more would talk. Like when you go into these classes and you feel that you don't belong, you do. But if you're okay and you find a very caring trainer, that person will say, hey, and this is why I'm not a fan. I understand that there's a lot of people out there writing different programs, and it's more inexpensive for you to pay $20 a month and have a program written out, but no one is there to help you. You're going to injure yourself. You don't know modifications. You think you can keep up with just this program that's on your phone. Again, I get it from a price standpoint, but in the long run, you're going to pay more.
Yeah. I think it was after COVID when I just got back into it, and, you know, life happens. You know, COVID drinking at home happened. And then I was getting back into it, and I was stretching. I literally was stretching, and I was like, oh my God, I remember how far my leg went back or what I could do. And
you were just away from it for a little bit?
Yes. And then I started, and I literally every day by day, you know, Stephanie brought me back in, and then I was doing it, and I'm like, oh, and inside you just break your heart a little bit going, I used to be this. But then that drove me to be like, I'm going to be that. I'm going to go back there. And then, you know, years happen. And then the first person never seen me before, didn't see me when I just got back, was like, man, you're so good. I'm like, girl,
you should have seen me.
You should have saw me about a year and a half ago. I was just you doing that. So, yeah, I mean, I stay with it, be positive, and knowing that if you put the effort into it, and if you are consistent with the game plan that you have, it will come true.
There's the word. And I'm going to take a break on that word, consistency. In fact, I'm very big on each day having a little life coaching, a little journaling session. So maybe right now you write that really big on your journal, or open up just a piece of paper or put it in your notes. Put the word consistency, because that is what will get you to your goals. Again, consistency of going in, getting stretched, having that feeling the very first day, and not just staying with that. If you want to drop any comments in, you know, sometimes people get moved to emotions and they write me a direct message later and say, boy, this one really hit. How did you guys know I needed to hear that today? I'm hoping that's you. I hope today that you're that person that walked into a gym and felt like I was never going to return. I see mirrors. I don't want to look at them. We talked about all this yesterday. I want you to look at the mirror. I want you to find at least one self-love comment to yourself, instead of beating yourself up saying, how did I put all this weight on? She just told you she put 70 pounds on with a child. How many of you mothers are out there, or you have adult children and you feel the exact same way? Realize that as long as you're still breathing, there is hope. And at any point, you can make that switch. And there are people like me and Trisha out here that are waiting for you to come walking into our lives so that we can help you physically, mentally, spiritually. And then listen to shows like this. It will help you on this side, because this will beat you up so many times.
Oh, yeah.
Consistency. All right, we've got more to talk about, again, with regards to stretching and how it will absolutely change your life. So don't go anywhere.
I love working here. You know, I come in here and I feel positivity with everybody, down from the housekeepers up to the CEO. Our bosses actually get on the floor with us, help us out. I've been in plenty work nursing homes, and being here, it makes me feel very happy all the time. Being around these residents is amazing things. I might cry. Working with them, it's like my grandma and my grandpa. When I'm at home and I can come here, I feel free. When I'm having bad days, I can just walk in here and boom, I'm back into a happy place. They make everything happy and joyful, and they all respectful. They do put an impact on my life big time. That's it. I mean, yeah, that's the best memories. Hey, this is my place. This is my home.
Welcome back. We're thrilled to have you along. Monica, Trisha, we're here on a Wellness Wednesday, and Rose just said, I repeat myself, my apologies, but Trisha, here's what we have. Hubby and I both have bad backs. He has lower back, and because of my back issues, I have pain going down both my legs. Find myself stopping to relieve pain. She said, had PT, no pain relief. Hubby's comes and goes. Mine is constant. I think he was off work one day. They wanted to come in, but they didn't know they had to make an appointment. Is that right, Rose? Have you been in yet? I don't think so. So, yeah, how many times have you heard the back pain that goes into the legs?
Yes. Actually, I have a gentleman. I'm actually going in early to work on him, police officer, and time to fit him in, and back pain. And it's sometimes... activity does result into back pain, but also sitting down for a long periods of time, lack of muscle strength in the joint as well. It can be but I have to put my hands on you and kind of feel
where it's coming from.
Yes, and a lot of times I've had tight hip flexors. As soon as I do my first 3 minutes of assessment, I'm like, it's your hip flexors. And I'm like, hip flexors is the pain in the butt.
Literally.
Literally a pain in the butt. And a lot of times it's good to tight glute, and then it just fires up through the lower back. IT is huge on that as well. But a lot of times I look, and it can be simple as like, what's your ankle flexion, and how is everything working on the bottom that radiates up through the hamstrings and through the lower back. I mean, all of it. And PT is great. PT is great because it does strengthen everything around what your weakness is in the muscles, but then also stretching gives you the traction.
And it's also, you're mentioning weaknesses, but I also, right here, and it's so funny that Zach pulled this up at this very time, because I was going to say, what if we have people who are heavily stronger in one area than other, and that's where problems are. I remember when I was playing soccer, and it was, wow, Monica, your quads are so much stronger than your hamstrings. Let's make sure that they're balanced here. So I'm always looking, when I'm training my clients, of, you're going to have a stronger side, more dominant side, if you're right-handed or left-handed, or that's not always true, because I had surgery on my left shoulder, and suddenly my left side was much stronger as it came back through everything that we built back. But in this particular stretch that Trisha's doing here, we were doing my adductors and my abductors.
Yeah.
And it was funny because she said, you said something about, someone knows how to do Kegels.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I didn't have kids.
So strong. Yeah. So strong.
But you'll find strengths and weaknesses. And then, sometimes if you I'm going to talk now about all of you that work out, all of you athletes that are involved in sports. If you are heavily doing one thing and that repetitive nature, you're going to find that there's injuries because you're not cross-training. And that's the importance of cross-training.
Guys, it's usually they're really hard on their back or really want to be strong in their chest, but they're never both.
Correct.
And then that I feel a lot. And then girls, it's always they want that butt.
Yep.
So they're always working on that, but they forget the quads. And the quad is the avenue to healthy knees. If you do not train your quads, your knees are going to hurt.
Okay, you want me to give you my personal story?
Why?
I've avoided knee surgery by 3 physicians who swore I had to have knee surgery when I was playing basketball, softball, and soccer all at once. A lot of damage to my knees from a lot of suicide drills in basketball, and I swore I had to have surgery. It was excruciating pain. One physician, very forward-thinking back then, said, I think if you strengthen your quads, which is why my quads got stronger than my hamstrings, if you strengthen your quads, you'll help stabilize that kneecap, and I think we can avoid surgery. And I'm like, I want to go with I want to go with you. Here we are. I don't have any wood.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I've never had knee surgery, and I don't even have knee pain. But look, you had 3 physicians that were so cut happy immediately. You got to find that doctor, by the way, that's in your court. So think about that.
Yeah.
Rose said yes. I said stooping, bending over, I get yelled at. We want to come in. what do we have to lose? You have nothing to
No,
lose.
absolutely. Yeah.
But you have to make an appointment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it's like if anyone comes in and there's a couple of people that came in and like, do you have anything open? I was like, or I just had a late cancellation, or I just had a little room. I'm like, you need to go to the store and get a lottery ticket because this is your lucky day. And
it's rare.
It's very rare, but yes.
Okay, let's break it down once again. If you are wanting to get into Trisha, but I do want you to show love to the entire team. If, however, you want to try to get into Trisha Monday through Thursday, she is at the Hampton, St. Louis Hills location. Friday, 9 to 1, she is at the Arnold location, which is inside of Exist Fitness. Again, if you want to know all about them, existstretch.com, at ExistStretch on social media. Look for on their social media pages when they run these different incredible specials. Take advantage of them. I have a client who took advantage of the 10 for $250 right around 4th of July. She just got in, by the way, and she said, it was interesting. She told me 2 nights ago, I finally got in and got my stretch. And she's like, boy, you're right. It was such a difference. But then it was funny because later that day she was doing her workout and she's like, my body was fighting me. And I said, it'll happen. It'll happen back and forth. And so, right there with you. Okay, so here's the deal. Many of you believe pain is just part of getting older. That's a question that I get. Is it just because I'm aging, Monica? Please don't settle into that mindset. You talk about Rose is saying my back is bad. Some people are telling Trisha my hips are shot. Some are telling me, but I want to know, can they help me? My knees are bone on bone.
Okay. Actually, my boss, Stephanie, she has bone on bone. It's if you've ever, well, not everyone's worked out with her, but when you do, you're like, oh,
really?
The sound,
You can hear it, crunchy.
Yeah, but that depends on that level of pain that you are. It's not something that you shouldn't be stretched because of that.
Yeah.
But the attraction can alleviate some of that minuscule pain that you're having. Eventually, for mobility reasons, there will come a time. But I always say, do the things that you can do to improve your everyday life before undergoing. And that surgery might, somewhere down the line, be life-changing and be like, oh, now I can be back. Yeah. It's just depending what you do on the daily basis, what you want to do, and how much pain you're having. But the actual stretch itself is stretching the muscles and everything in the joint capsule together. So it might give you a little bit of room between that in the joint capsule to alleviate any everyday pain that you're having.
And again, if you eventually do have to have surgery, I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's the best thing that can happen. I had surgery when I was in my 20s on my shoulder. Unbelievable. All these years later, it was one of the best things that could have happened. Again, I like to have you avoid surgery, but if you do have to have surgery, it's then coming back through PT, through stretching, through massage therapy. It's the entire wellness team working for you. Trisha Rose just said, we will do it. This is a promise. Yeah. She said, we want Trisha, though. She has a calming voice.
Thank you. And I talk a lot, too. But the one thing also to just really pile on with the bone on bone, the knee, the stretching will also make everything around there healthier for that knee surgery.
Yes.
So
They'll
you're not
help
like
you
starting.
bounce back.
Yes, absolutely.
That's important. Again, don't be afraid. When you have that, and so there is someone who watches us regularly that said, I'm so frustrated. I've gone to this doctor, to that doctor. Should I just go ahead and get in or should I wait? And so what is today? Wednesday? Yes, we'll be finding out. So yesterday he went to the doctor and I said, let's see what they say. And then tell them that you want to go in to someone who is a pro in the stretching aspect. Are they okay with that? If they say yes, I don't want you to, because he's just sitting around. I mean, he's in so much pain. This is Rich.
Yeah.
He's in so much pain, but he wants to get back into you. He's just like, I'm tired of waiting.
Well, the thing is, Mary is the one that I hold dear, is because she's one of the good testimonials that couldn't walk, was horrible walking, in pain, distraught, older woman, doesn't want to go back into surgery, and tried the first time stretch. Loved it, and now she can bend over, pick up. She says she waits all weekend long, can't wait for her Tuesday stretch. See? And I stretched her yesterday, and it's great conversation. I know what she's going through. She is inevitably going to have another hip surgery or a hip replacement. She doesn't want to do it. But the stretching itself is buying her time before she does it.
And you're helping her not be in pain constantly.
Exactly. So, and if she wanted to, she can come twice a week. But For the most part, that is literally her saving grace, and she literally feels better after it. That she's like, her husband's like, oh, I believe in this stretch. It makes you a happier person.
Hey, see, that helps the mental side as
Yeah,
well. The dopamine, right? We're trying to make you happier.
Yeah.
So again, maybe you talk about your shoulder. Jim said that my shoulder's just worn out. But what if some of that pain isn't coming from damaged joints at all? We're talking about, again, something that could be surprisingly simple that you haven't even thought of, that you need to put into your repertoire, into your tools. Incredibly powerful. Again, it's professional stretching. And some of the videos that we're showing you is me that's on the table. But as Trisha and I just said, I have not been in, and I hate to say shame at all, but I'm going to go ahead and shame myself because I need to be back in. So does Jim. Jim only went once. So you can guarantee that Jim's hips are...
You took him to see Tim. I swear. I thought you were...
Nope. No, I went in. I was stretched by Tim. But yeah, I mean, when you were stretching him, I was so shocked. I've never seen him be so limber. You had his leg out to the side, and I'm like, holy cow. But the whole aspect of how off his hips are and how he says, with all of the, again, these are our police officers, our firefighters, all that incredible equipment that they have on their bodies, you can guarantee that that's putting a lot of extra stress on them. The damage that's being done. So why go through that? And I don't care, whatever job you have, or I'm just talking about, I mean, there are people who see me regularly running around with all these bags. And yes, immediately when I go in, Trisha would be like, did you carry all that on your right side?
Yes.
I need to give some love back and forth. So yes, we've been in, need to get in regularly. My business partner, Afan, finally came in.
It does not.
Yes, and I needed him to get in, by the way, because he was in a meeting and literally had to stand up. He was in excruciating pain. And I finally looked at him and I said, would you please get in and get stretched?
Yeah.
So we had to make the appointment for him. And sometimes, folks, that's what has to happen. You may have to make that appointment for your loved one because you care so much about them and you know that this is going to change. He said, okay, I want to be honest. I felt a little bit of a change in my neck, but oh my gosh, did it make my back feel so much better. And that was his problem area. I mean, I'm talking serious tightness. So he said, okay, I've got my next appointment on the books for 2 weeks from that point. And then he is bringing in two friends of ours that work in the manicure, pedicure, nail salons. Well, you know how they are, hunched over.
Completely.
I can't wait. And she actually had surgery on her wrist because she had some, carpal tunnel problems. But that was the other thing. I had something going on, and I want you all to hear this. I had something going on in my forearm and my wrist that I swore, oh my gosh, did I just damage something working out, and now do I have to have a surgery? So immediately your mind thinks that you've done so much damage that that's the route you have to go, when in actuality, Tim was the one that said, is your arm okay? And I said, no, it's weird. I'm like, this bothers me. And he's like, oh, okay, hold on. Went up into a whole different area where you wouldn't think that he would go, and he fixed it in one day. So I was telling my friend Michelle, and she's like, Monica, I'm getting old. This is happening. That's happening.
Old.
My mom said it the other day as well, though. People give up on themselves. They
It's
finally,
just the way it should be.
Yep, they get to a point that they believe this is just what's going to happen in my life, and it is not. So, Tim, Trisha, again, Justin or Claire, they're all there for you. They're all incredible. So I want to break some things down here in our final, we've got about 8 minutes or so. So we've discussed enough. What exactly professional assisted stretching is beyond the stretching that you do, how it's simply different than you stretching at home. Why does having someone else stretch you allow your muscles to relax more? Because again, they're able to take you beyond what you're able to do. And suddenly it's that sticking point where it's, oh my gosh, you just released that unbelievable tightness and pain that I've been having for a while. Can we also discuss, though, why breathing is a major component in this?
Okay, we are taught that in our training as well, is to watch as the breathing. My technique is talking, so I like to talk with you so I know when you're going to take that breath.
Okay.
When sometimes people like talk as long as I do, I'm like, okay, I'm like holding that leg and I'm waiting for you to be like, and then I'll move. But and like Tim is very emotional when he's in that.
He breathes with you.
He breathes with you.
Yeah.
He's talking with you. Justin's a little bit like that as well. He's very calm and he'll have conversations, but he's really in tune with your breath. But the one thing is because we look for heart rate, how you're breathing to move in with it. And it's just saying the same thing is when you're breathing in. Now, when we're going through the stretch, breathe out, because it releases through there. We can get a little bit further. I'll know when the muscle is going to stop because it's no longer in a holding contraction. We can push through. So it's very important. Everyone just has their different technique.
It's the same thing, by the way, when you're working out. If you're trying to push some serious weight around and you hold your breath, you could herniate.
Yeah, exactly.
We tell you the importance of inhaling and exhaling.
Concentric phases, and that's kind of what we're working with as well, just to kind of make sure the muscles relax.
It's interesting when people go through yoga and Pilates, though, sometimes the breathing is exactly opposite. And they're like, no, I'm so confused.
Yeah,
I thought I was supposed to be doing it here. I'm supposed to be doing it here. So how often do people treat the location of pain instead of the source? They go right to thinking, this is my problem, when it actually could be in the back somewhere. It could be somewhere in your low back. Can poor posture completely change how muscles fire?
Absolutely. I mean, we are always taught like set position, how we're going to do. That's why I love our technique as far as being on the table, because your body is forced to be, gravity is forcing you into somewhat of a set position.
Okay.
And that we are allowed to move your joints in different angles and movements that you technically would not move it. I always, when people say, oh, can I have a stretch to maybe I can go home with? I'm like, yeah, help me help you. So yeah. The one thing I do is I don't like anyone on the floor doing it. I like people up
Elevated,
elevating, doing their stretch, because that's kind of, I wouldn't say alike or similar, but it's in the path of you'll know where your R1 is, that you're not overstretching. And that's the one thing when people stretch at home, they want to get to that specific point, and it could just take seconds and you're into an overstretch, and then you'll be hurting.
And she's already said this. I've had people ask me, can tight hip flexors create lower back pain?
Yes.
Right.
All day long.
Absolutely. So I think, how many of you have crazy tight hip flexors? I think a good majority of the audience would say.
And normally when they come in and say, I'm a desk worker or whatever, I know exactly where to start. Yeah.
And again, I'm going to go back to mobility also. If you're doing all just very tight, shortened muscle training, you need to work on yoga. You need to work on Pilates, and you need to work on mobility, because that's how you help them. And they'll actually see the difference. They can see when you have suddenly incorporated that into your workouts. Can tight calves affect knee pain?
Oh, absolutely. It's the tight calves. You are no longer using your plantar. So your plantar is like your gateway to everything up your leg. So if your plantar's not moving, I have a gentleman, so awesome, but I can't move his foot. Like his plantar is so super tight. I really work on that for a good 10 minutes in the stretch, just to get it. We're getting there, and I'm trying to get ankle mobility, but that is tight calfness, tight hamstring, which leads to lower back. And it's all connected. It's all connected.
Can tight chest muscles contribute to headaches and neck pain?
Absolutely. Chest muscles means that your back is fully extended, any adhesions that are in there. The best, I don't even realize to some people how important that is to them, but I had a female come in, and she's a nurse, and she's walking, she's like, and she bought a package. She came in, she's like, can you just do that chest thing you did to me? Because I just felt my posture was different. Everything opened up, and I was like, oh my God. Like you always hear like the neck or like anything that we do, but that was like the one thing. She was like, I just love that. I've never felt that in my entire life before, and it just opened up my whole posture, and I just felt better the whole next day. I'm like, lay down, let's go.
Let's do this. Yeah. And then when the very first time someone comes in and gets that free stretch, are you doing an assessment of like head to toe, or a movement assessment?
Yes, we are trained to say, okay, I don't want to, from your, like I say, you don't know what pain you're in. People say they're in pain, but I'm just like, I have to assess you. And that's what we're trained to just kind of see. As far as your joint mobility is the biggest, within 5 minutes, I can kind of pinpoint what is happening. But, I have a rare case of people that have come in and be like, I can't move my neck, and can I do, I'm like, and then we will generally, I'm like, usually, and I remember Joe, she was like, I know it's all connected, but this really hurts. And I was like, I get it. But for most, like, you're going to get a full body assessment as far as what the trouble areas are. We'll try to work more of the area that we think is going to help you. But then, of course, if there's something that is in that level of we need to work, we'll set up a game plan of what we need to do to see you again.
You saw me like that. My range is much better now, but yeah, there's times where I come in and it's like, oh, I can't look this way, I can't look this way, and it's all in that damaged area. So we talk again a lot about back pain, shoulder pain, that tightness, your knee issues, your IT, by the way. How about tight shoulders? Can they mimic rotator cuff injuries?
I wouldn't say I can usually feel it, but you'll know because we do an extensive shoulder, but we'll do internal, external rotation, and it's a dead giveaway. I mean, you know yourself, but the pain somebody's in, something can be easy as an impingement. I am not an MRI machine, or I can't know what's going on, but you know, your facial expressions say it all.
Yeah. And by the way, I want you to understand this. If you're in excruciating pain, they will not continue to try to go into stretching you, because if there's a serious tear in there, they don't want to do any more damage.
We just know. I can tell between how pliable everything is, you know, specifically when we go into that pec minor as far as giving you compression in the shoulder, and then that will move me into internal, external rotation, but I do it easily. So I first start with the compression, and then I kind of move you into external and then internal, and your face will say it all. That gives me the green light to go ahead to give you traction. If not, I'm like, we're just going to cut that. And like,
So again, I hope what you got out of today is that maybe you thought you needed surgery. You haven't been into a doctor for them to assess that, but you thought you did because of what you're feeling, the type of pain that you're feeling. If it's excruciating, again, yes, please get into the doctor. But many times you might discover this is severe muscular tightness that you've never been stretched, you've never had a massage, and you've just pounded it over and over and over again. In fact, somebody had asked me, are tight hamstrings maybe creating sciatic-like symptoms?
Oh, absolutely.
So understand, you could have IT issues, sciatic issues. Again, we know that's painful.
Yeah.
My husband said it's one of the worst pains he's ever had was his sciatic issue.
Tendons, ligaments, muscles, but the nerves are running through all of that. So giving the traction and lengthening the muscle kind of like gives room for the fascia to move and cross and not have a chokehold on that nerve. And sometimes it can take immediately, like you walk out, you're like, oh, wow, my posture, I just feel amazing. And sometimes for me, it was like 2 days later, it just kind of, all your nerves kind of have to, sometimes is a slower roll in your body. And then you just kind of look and you're like, wow, I've never been able to move like that before.
It's incredible when it all opens up. And I'm telling you, again, when you get in there, your bodies were designed to move. And if you are stunted in your growth, right, you're closed up, it's going to be an aha moment when you get in. So please, one more time, get in for your free stretch. I know you want to get into Tricia. If her plate is full, don't say, well, then I'm not going to get in. Get into Claire, get into Justin, get into Tim. They all do great. Maybe sprinkle them all in a little bit at a time, as I mentioned before. ExistStretch.com if you want to know a little bit more about them. At ExistStretch, again, on social media. So they're on Hampton in St. Louis Hills, if you want to go to the South City area, or inside of Exist Fitness in the Arnold area. We're going to have Tricia back on. I've got a lot of stuff that we have loaded up for next week's show as well. I'm going to do a little this or that with Tricia. We're going to talk a little bit more about, would you rather gain this? How often do you stretch? Some audience questions that we'll be asking you. Where do you hurt the most? I want to find out where your pain is, and then she'll be able to help you along with that. So what do you feel we need to hear today from our devotional? Fear and anxiety, shame.
Oh, let's do fear and anxiety.
Fear and anxiety?
Because that's kind of in the realm of why people are still not coming in. It's either a fear or the anxiety of maybe
they think
finding
it's going to hurt.
So it's going to
That's
hurt
what I keep
something.
hearing.
They're going to find something's wrong, or even the anxiety of, it's not going to work for me. You know, so
I shouldn't waste my time.
Yeah.
Nope, but you should. And it's not a waste at all. You're going to be shocked. Okay, so fear and anxiety, we have gone through that entire book. So I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 and 100.
Oh, 17.
So, that quick. 17. All right. We're going to do 17, and then we're going to tell you what's on tap tomorrow, what's on tap for you on Friday, because it's going to be big. You've all been waiting for it, and you're going to see it all unfold live on Friday morning. So stay tuned. We'll tell you all about that next.
Most places you walk into, you look around, you nod, not here. You could try anything. Woo! Only 3 minutes in here, I'm already gassed. Check this bad boy out. It's a swim spa. Let's go. This is called the Sweaty Goat. This is where I get my demons out. Whether it's a hot tub, a swim spa, a sauna, or a cold tub, you come in here and you could try it and you pick what you want. That's Spas and More STL. And tell them Cam sent you.
Cam Jansen, I've got one of those squeaky ducks at home as well, and you're going to see it on Friday. We'll tell you what's coming up on Friday in just a second. So fear and anxiety, day 17. That is what Trisha picked. This is the devotional from Stephen Arterburn, and today's says, next steps. When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. Psalm 56, verse 3. Sometimes to feel a sense of peace, we need to know what to do. We're eager for someone to tell us the details of how to do what needs to be done. Someone we trust. Here's the challenge. Most of the time, life doesn't have step-by-step instructions. The unknown is where insecurities and fears show up. Yep, that's the unknown we're discussing, Trisha. This passage is a next step you can trust. Awareness that you feel afraid or insecure is your cue to put your trust in God. And today I was talking about, and when I did my prayer, it was, through your healing hands, God, that go into the healing hands of someone like Trisha, or the healing hands of the doctors that are treating some of my family and my friends right now, because it's through him where we truly heal. While this may seem simplistic, it is the path to freedom. The path takes more than one step, but eventually your faith and trust in God will bring the peace for which you long. Today, choose to trust, especially if you're not feeling afraid of anything. It's during those times that you will build your faith for the times of testing. This isn't to suggest you will completely remove fear from your life. Not ever completely, but it does mean that even when you do feel afraid, you will know who you can trust with your life. Max Lucado says the presence of fear does not mean to have no faith. Fear visits everyone, but make your fear a visitor and not a resident. Oh, I like that, Max. That's a good one. Lord Jesus, help me to be aware of your strength and love for me each and every day. You're always faithful. Help me as I rest in your promises. Amen. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is, can I trust that this will be better? Mm-hmm. It's a hard thing, for sure.
It's very, yes. People always have that, I'm going to fall off the table.
Yeah.
No.
She's got you. So I've been asking if you've been into the porch. Some of you came for our live show, for our taped show last week. Tomorrow, you will see it all play out. You don't want to miss this. You didn't get a chance to go.
I did not. I was so busy.
Well, you still can go in. Obviously,
no,
they're there
am.
for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You're going to love it. In fact, here's the simplest thing of all. I bought a new handbag, which was one of the many handbags I told you that have a lifetime warranty. The Kelly Took handbags. So one of them is no longer on the table because I purchased it. It's that one right there. That dark one right there. Yep. And then people have been commenting on the candle that we have on set. That's also from the porch in Wildwood. Now, guess what I'm going to go back for? You're going to laugh at this.
Shoes.
Well, no, she doesn't have shoes, but she could get the bed stew shoes, by the way, because she carries bed stew. She doesn't carry the shoes, but she can get them for you. But the leather is unlike anything. No, it is an ice cream scooper. So Jim loves ice cream. And the other day I'm like, you know what?
Cute.
I haven't had ice cream in forever. I'm craving some ice cream. He had vanilla ice cream at home, but I'm like, do we not have a scooper? That's how long I haven't had ice cream.
Yeah.
And he's like, here, just use this big spoon. I'm like, oh no, I'm going back for a scooper. She has the coolest, it's got like some kind of a tusk or a handle. It's a crazy thick handle that will never break.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So, again, she is an interior designer, but what she has in that store will blow you away, from the coolest pillows to chairs to everything for your space to completely transform it. So tomorrow, it all plays out. You don't want to miss tomorrow's show. 7 a.m. We'll be featuring the porch in Wildwood. And then guess what's coming on Friday? The hot tub.
Oh my God! I'm so excited for you.
Exactly.
Oh, yay!
So I wanted to come in and see you on Friday, and unfortunately I can't because they are delivering the hot tub at that
that's so
time.
exciting.
So we are going to show it live. So
great.
from Spas and More, the tub is coming. The electric is being done, and please, 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 even if you have a hot tub already at your place and you think I can have one taken out and next one put in, that is not true, because the one you have may not be the exact same, and then you're putting yourself in harm's way. So EcoPower Electric, which is here in St. Louis, they are coming to do the electric, and we're going to film that. We'll talk to him about the importance of letting the pros do it, because electric scares me. Then the hot tub is coming in. So we are going to show you. I know a lot of you have been asking, what do you think of the hot tub? We don't have it yet, but I'll let you know after we get it all filled up and ready to go. By Saturday, I'm probably going to go live from it.
That's exciting.
I know. I'm excited. So, and then next Monday, a very popular show that we did on estate planning, elder law, wills, living trust, etc. It's completely out of our hands, and it's an overwhelming process. I literally signed and signed and signed like crazy last night. We finally did it.
good for
I can't
you.
believe, I know, but I can't believe we put it off as long as we have. There are people who say they put it off because they feel like as soon as they do it, something's going to happen to them. Don't put that out there to the universe, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but it's important. So Sean Estep from the Estep Law Firm will be back with us on Monday, and then Tuesday, it's our rescheduled show with Monica Spittler. She gets to do a Testament Tuesday talking about everything that she's overcome, which is just devastating, devastating, devastating. And then she finds her purpose and she opens this beautiful boutique in Washington, Missouri called Coconut Grove. And so we're going to feature her next Tuesday. So we've got some really cool shows lined up for you.
That is really cool.
And then you're back Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And then it's me and you in life coaching on Thursday. And then Tabaroo is our Foodie Friday. So I just gave you 7 shows. And a lot of people always want to know what shows we have coming up. That requires me to get onto my website and put them all onto the calendar for you. I need
Just
an
watch the
assistant.
shows.
I know. We'll just tell you what's coming up. All right. So there you go. The next 7 shows all lined up for you. And we will see you every morning at 7 a.m. All right. Thank you so much, Trisha.
Thank you.
And to all of you, thank you. Remember the phrase we always say, go out, find somebody new to say hi to, give them a compliment because you're sharing an incredible thing in life, and that is kindness. So be kind, please, and God bless.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Kaufman Outdoors and The Porch in Wildwood.